Hi everyone, welcome to today's video, which is called You Can't Have It All. Now, before I get into the video, I'm going to address the fact that there are squatters on my face, and that is what I call spots. So I know why they're there and I know what's going on, but that doesn't mean I'm happy about it. But that can't either be an excuse to not do what I'm supposed to be doing. So I just wanted to, I'm an open book. So I just addressed the issue. I know how my face looks, but let's get on with the video. So in today's video about You Can't Have It All, the principle is sacrifice. Now, you can't have it all because today's society tells you you can have it all, do any, it all goes. But that's a lie. You have to sacrifice things to achieve what you want to achieve. You have to prioritize your life in a way that you will meet your goals and your aspirations and your calling and all of those things. There has to be sacrifice. You cannot have it all. So another way to explain that point is let's talk about marriage. We want good marriages, relationships in general. You want to be open, you want to have friendship, you want to have good communication, you want to be loving, and all of those things. But you have to invest the time and the effort to be able to get that. You can't be, you're distant, you keep things to yourself, you're not making the time, it's always I'm working, but then expect that your relationship will flourish. That doesn't make sense. The same with if you want to be serious about your health and lose weight. You can't be sitting on the sofa, binging, you don't exercise, you eat junk food, you drink rubbish, but then be complaining that, other people are thin. You have to sacrifice. You can't break the principles that govern that thing, but still expect to benefit from that thing. If you break the principles that govern a good, healthy relationship, then you will have a bad, unhealthy relationship because you break the principles that govern a good one. If you want health and fitness, you have to abide within the principles that govern fitness and health. You can't break them and violate them and then be upset that you're not fit and healthy. It's the same with money. You can't break the principles daily with your behaviors and your spending and all of that. You can't break the principles that govern wealth, but then be praying for wealth. It doesn't work like that. If you want wealth, you have to stay on that path and stay within the principles that govern wealth, meaning you have to sacrifice. You can't have it all. So on that note, I have some notes, as you know. So on that note, one of the things I want to speak about are all of these like saving and investing apps, which seem like good ideas. I know there's one that when you're shopping, once you tap your card, it just kind of rounds up your shopping, and then those pennies, it now puts it in saving for you. So if you did your shopping was £27.05, it will now take 95 pence and round it up to £28 and put that 95 pence into your savings account. There's also another app that does something. There's another investing app. Basically, you don't have to know about investing, you don't have to understand it, you just sign up and then they'll assess your risk appetite and all of that and do all of these things for you without you having to really understand, and the money comes out automatically. So however the signing up works, but it comes out automatically. You don't have to see it, you don't have to think about it, they take care of that. They seem like things that are helping, and on paper and in theory, it's a good idea. But practically, I don't like those apps because what I believe those apps are doing are robbing people of developing the actual core skill, which is self-discipline. You can't negate to someone else something that is your responsibility. You need to be conscious about your savings. You need to know how much you're saving, when you're saving, why you're saving. To just be saving mindlessly is the opposite of people spending mindlessly. You just, oh yeah, why not? You see something, oh yeah, chuck it in the basket. Oh yeah, I like that. Oh yeah, that looks good. Oh, just mindless spending. So you haven't dealt with the mindlessness of your attitude towards money. You've just converted it into mindless saving. But really, one of the principles you need for wealth is self-discipline. You can isolate yourself from temptation for a certain time period, but ultimately you need to have the self-discipline that when you're in a circumstance of temptation, the latest phone has come out, you're a shoe person, you saw some nice designer shoes that just look so and all, whatever your temptation is, if it's people who are into tech, that something, whatever your temptation is, you need to develop self-discipline, because there will always be temptation. So the point is that when you're in that shop and you see that thing, when your friend is showing off their latest this, when TV adverts are blasting all these temptations in your face, ultimately you have the self-discipline. I acknowledge that I like that. I acknowledge that if I had the money, I'd probably buy that. But you know what? I don't have the money to be spending on those things. I'm going to manage what I have and keep it moving, because I have other priorities for my money. You need to have the self-discipline. The temptation isn't going anywhere. So that's another aspect to, you can't have it all. You can't not have discipline and defer the discipline for someone else through an app, a feature, or another company, and think you'll be able to function in the principles of wealth. Self-discipline is one of them. You can't defer that. You have to build that up. And the two go together. For you to be able to sacrifice, it requires self-discipline. So you can't have one without the other. Now, to round up this video on having, you can't have it all. You have to pick a path, stick to it, and stay within the principles that govern that thing that you say you want, which is in this case, wealth. One of the realities I want to let you know about that is to be able to transition from where most people are now, which is poverty mindset, to be able to have wealth. You have to go through a wilderness period, because now the perfect example is poor people who win the lottery. The statistics are very high that most of them, very few percentage, probably like 5%, 2%, actually stay wealthy. Most of the people who win the lottery, give them a couple of years, they go back to being broke as a joke. And I never used to understand that. I'm like, how can you spend all of that money? What did you do? Like, it's never made sense to me at all, until I realized that it's about the mindset. So that person who all they've known is poverty mindset, poverty habits, friends who indulge them in their poverty habits and mindset, that's their life. And then they come into loads of money. Really, that money doesn't change their thinking. That money doesn't all of a sudden mean they have self-discipline. That money doesn't mean anything. You've given them money in a state of poverty. So they're still going to act like they're poor. They're still going to shop mindlessly. They're still going to not be able to say no, not say no to themselves, friends, family. They don't have the skills to be able to hold on to that money, because they still function in a poverty mindset. So for us who are Christians and we're out here praying for God, God give me wealth, God give me riches, oh God, 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 and it's not happening. God can't give you wealth, because you would just take your poverty mindset, and as soon as you get this money, the latest Gucci shoes, the latest car, you're buying the most expensive house, you're just spending mindlessly. Consumerism, that topic is coming down the line. So really, there's nothing useful you're going to do with that money. You're just going to spend it. So what's the point of you having it? And that's why most lottery winners, lose their funding, because they didn't have the right mindset to be able to manage that amount of money. So for you, if you really genuinely want to move from poverty, broke as a joke, and the joke's on you, and you want to move into wealth, you have to go through a wilderness period and allow God to transform you. You need to transform your eating habits. You need to transform your spending habits, you need to transform the way you think about money, the way you relate to money. Money is a tool. Money is not just there for you to just spend anyhow. It is a tool. Use it incorrectly, you will suffer for it. Use a tool properly, you will get what you need to get out of it. So all of these things change during the wilderness process. You have to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. You have to renew your mind if you're going to seriously move from poverty to wealth. For example, the Israelites, once they came out of captivity, they didn't just stumble into the promised land. No, they had to go through the wilderness. Now, the wilderness period lasted longer than it should because of them, but they still needed to go through the wilderness period. And in the wilderness period, all they had was manna. They weren't having versatile and then you remix the dish and then no. They had to make do with manna, learn how to trust God, learn how to just cope with what they have in that season, train themselves, come out of the mindset of slavery, come out of the mindset of depending on that kingdom and how it was governed, and rely on God. It's the same thing. We have to go through the wilderness period of a poverty mindset where you're reliant on the world system, the world's indoctrination, you're financially illiterate. You can't be financially illiterate and be wealthy. The wilderness is a training ground. There's things you have to unlearn and bad habits you have to stop practicing, and new information you have to obtain, new habits you have to develop, new circles of friendships, new relationship and interaction with money itself. So that's the point of that. From between poverty and wealth, there is a wilderness period, and you have to embrace that. Don't think that you're going to go from where you are now and all the things you've been doing to click of a finger. You're able to just save, you're able to just invest, you're able to just do this because your mindset hasn't changed. Nothing has changed. So on that note, I hope you get the point and the gist of today's teaching, because it's very key for the other principles we'll be talking about later on. So thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe, and we'll see you next week.